Hello Superset Maniacs and welcome back to my channel. Okay, we had to compare 2021 New York Pro Nick Walker to prime Ronnie Coleman at some point, and I'm not saying Nick is at the level where he should be compared with the all-time greats. He just won his first pro show in 2021 after all. However, it would be interesting to see the most hyped bodybuilder in 2021 going against the GOAT. And to make things a little more interesting, because we all know who's gonna win this comparison, we are going to throw in the mix the newly created small waist Nick Walker, which for those of you who are new here or don't watch my videos regularly, is a photoshopped version of Nick having a small midsection. Nick already has the freak factor, he's got the crisp conditioning, and with the addition of a small and aesthetic midsection, he should be a worthy challenger for 1999 Mr. Olympia Ronnie Coleman, which is believed to be Ronnie's best shape ever by most fans. Are you guys excited for this one? Okay, before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button if you want to support the channel. This is the best way to get more exposure on YouTube. Thank you guys, you rock. And we begin with the first pose, the front double biceps. This is a Nick without any Photoshop, and despite his crazy arm development, decent taper, incredible deep cut quads, and crisp conditioning, he's no match to King Ronnie Coleman in this pose. Ronnie has arguably the best guns and quads of all time, and here in 1999 a great V-taper as well. The only thing you can take away from him here is probably his unaesthetic ab development. A smaller waist makes a huge difference for Nick Walker, but no difference against Ronnie Coleman here, meaning that he is still losing this pose no doubt. But who wouldn't lose in this pose against King Ron, let's be fair. Front lat spread and Ronnie is slightly turned to his left, however we can still notice his good taper and great lat development. Ronnie is one of the best ever in this pose, and Nick Walker on the other hand does not have an outstanding front lat spread pose, not even by today's standards in today's lineups. A smaller waist for Nick Walker would not make a big difference against King Ron here. Maybe it would have against him in his later years when the midsection became a problem for Big Ron, but here in 1999 his midsection was pretty much on point. Side chest pose, and for those of you who think Nick looks too big here against King Ron, it may also be because Nick opens up way more in these shots. Nick has the tools to have a great side chest. He's got the size, the thickness, the dryness, however, when compared to Ronnie Coleman, aside from the fact that he's getting out-muscled, he's also getting out-conditioned. Ronnie had that generic paper-thin skin that would make almost anyone look soft in comparison. Ronnie also destroys Nick Walker at the chest department. We don't have a small waist Nick Walker for this pose for obvious reasons. More bad news for Nick Walker as we turn to the back. Against Ronnie Coleman this would be bad news for any bodybuilder probably. However, we have to admit that Nick Walker has a lot of potential. He loses this pose no doubt, but he holds his own against Ronnie Coleman here, and don't forget guys that he's like 27. A smaller waist for Nick Walker would not make any difference here, not so much to talk about. Rear lat spread, and just like in the front lat spread, Nick Walker drops the ball a little bit. His lat spread poses may be his weakest ones, but like I mentioned, he's got all the time in the world to improve on anything necessary. The genetics are there. A smaller waist wouldn't do too much of a difference in the back poses for Nick, especially against arguably the best back in history. Side triceps, and this is the moment where usually Ronnie Coleman would let everyone know he is not perfect. This is one of the only two weaker poses for him. His lateral head of the triceps was never at the level to go against the best triceps in the world, and his ineffectiveness of hitting this pose wouldn't help either. On the other hand, Nick Walker has great tricep development, some of the best triceps in bodybuilding today. His execution is on point, his midsection looks acceptable. However, in this other side pose, we have a small waist knee walker version. Boom. I don't think this was necessary, as in my opinion knee walker wins this pose regardless. Abs and thighs, the only other pose in which Ronnie Coleman is not one of the best ever, mainly because of the shape of his abs and later on because of his blocky waist. Here in 99, his waistline looked more than acceptable in my opinion. Knee walker on the other hand is quite blocky. This is due to genetics, unlike in Ronnie's case where his midsection got wider and wider due to his heavy training. Ronnie Coleman before 96, let's say, looked very aesthetic, having a quite narrow waist. Back to this pose, I cannot say knee walker wins this one against Ronnie, however small waist knee walker certainly does enough here to win the pose. What do you guys think? Most muscular pose, and Nick Walker does excellent here against King Ronnie Coleman, only if he had a bigger chest, man. I can't stress that enough, Nick Walker needs to step up his chest, that's for sure. Small waist Nick Walker does great when compared to himself, but not against Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman wins this pose hands down, one of the best, most muscular poses of all time right here. So, as an obvious conclusion, Ronnie Coleman wins this matchup pretty easily, having trouble in the only two poses where he usually struggles against any top contender. Nothing new under the sun. Nobody expects Ronnie to dominate in the side triceps and the abs and thighs, and he doesn't need to, he simply dominates in the other 6 mandatories, which obviously is more than enough. What do you guys think about this comparison? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video to support the channel, subscribe to stay updated, and as always, thank you guys and see you next time.